We are now going to go ahead and give you some of the sounds of the Old West. Fellas, are you ready? Here we go!
I'm from Oceanside, California.
Gold Canyon.
We're from Gilbert.
Chandler.
From Mesa, Arizona.
I'm from Las Vegas.
Camp Moody.
I kind of feel like I'm going back in time and seeing what it was like on the trail in the chuck wagons. It's just sort of transforming.
People get to come in for free. You don't ever get this caliber. It's amazing. It truly is.
I think this is great for everyone to kind of get a chance to touch and smell and taste of what it was like, and it's definitely that really neat history lesson.
They always have it in November, so the weather is usually fantastic.
And Chandler is the biggest and nicest chuck wagon gathering in the state. And so if you're anything, you're going to be in Chandler.
It brings everybody together. I love it. We have a good time.
Hello and welcome to Chandler in Focus. I'm Vice Mayor Kevin Hartke, and our topic of discussion today is the 8th annual Chandler Chuck Wagon Cook-Off. And my guests with me today, we have Jody Craigo and Dan Edwards. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Hi.
This is always a favorite conversation with me because it's become more popular just because the popularity with younger foodies and the mystique of chuck wagon cookery. So this is an exciting show. It's always a pleasure to talk about this event. And every year, it seems like something new has evolved and it comes into this show. And I'm eager to hear what are we about today. So before we get started, I wonder if you two could introduce yourselves, tell your brief history about being involved with Chandler as well as with the show. Dan, why don't you start?
Thank you. My name is Dan Edwards, and this is my 4th cook-off. When I retired, I Googled volunteering in Chandler, and that's how I ended up with the museum and eventually then on the board for the partners of Tumbleweed Ranch. I've lived in Chandler now 6 years and enjoy it so much, and I'm happy to be involved with this. It's a great cause, and we hope everyone will come out this year. And as this show goes on, you'll learn a little bit more about us and hopefully excite you enough to come and see us.
And Dan, what did you do before retiring? What was your job, and was there any affinity between that and the chuck wagon, or is this a totally separate interest of yours?
Really, I was in call center management and airlines at one point also. It's always people type jobs. So this is certainly a people event. And
it's a great people event.
It is.
So Jody, how about yourselves? I think you told me the other day you've been in Chandler for 10 years now, is that right?
Yeah, I'm the museum administrator for the Chandler Museum, and been here 10 years, came in the fall of 2007. And we operate Tumbleweed Ranch, which is part of the museum, and that's where the event is held. And we also co-produce it with the partners at Tumbleweed Ranch.
So you just shared with us that this is going to be happening at Tumbleweed Ranch. Can you give us an overview of the event this year?
Sure. So we've got 2 exciting days of activities, November 10th and 11th. First is on Friday, and that's a holiday, so the kids will be off school. And on that day, we have the chuck wagons all set up, and that day, they're offering small plates. So at 3 different times, in the morning, they offer breakfast type items. At lunch, they offer savory items. And then in the early afternoon, they offer dessert type items for sale. At the same time, we have the youth cook-off where we invite kids to actually compete cooking with Dutch ovens in the chuck wagon style. And they do a competition themselves. So that's also available. We also have interactive exhibit on the chuck wagon experience, and then that evening we do s'mores, and the partners are offering a new sunset dinner fundraiser that evening as well.
So I can show up at Tumbleweed Park on Friday and have breakfast, lunch, and supper this year.
Yeah, you can have items about that. I don't know if you get a full meal that way, but you can certainly have little small plates of each of those types of foods.
Wow.
Well, he can if he comes to the dinner then.
That's right.
And I will have to be there this year. It sounds fantastic. So what of the items this year are, so on Friday, what is new this year that we've never done before?
Sure. So this year, the partners of Tumbleweed Ranch are offering the sunset dinner at Tumbleweed Ranch. And I'll let Dan talk about that.
It is new this year, and it's a dinner at sunset, as Jody said. It runs from 5 to 7:30, and we have a live entertainment with Rick and Tony Martinez. We have door prizes. We're limited to only 100 tickets, so we encourage everyone to get them as soon as, because we don't want you to miss this. It's going to be a great event, a lot of fun, and you can come that day with your family, as it is a holiday, and we get a ton of families on Friday because school's out, and let all the kids experience it. And then that night, bring your wife and/or significant other back and enjoy a nice evening. We have a no-host bar, so if you want to drink, you can have one. You don't have to. We also have non-alcoholic beverages, and we look forward to hopefully selling this out and having a waiting list for any cancellations on it. It should be great.
Well, that sounds phenomenal. So that's Friday. We have tastings, we have a youth cook-off, and then we have an event sponsored by the partners or friends. That'll be great.
We also have the s'mores that evening. So from 6 to 8, you can just come to the ranch and either bring material for yourself to make s'mores, or you can buy a s'more kit there and cook s'mores over an open fire with your family. And we'll also have Chip Hanna, musical performer, singing around the campfire, singing campfire-style songs. He's a former stuntman from Rawhide, so it's really interesting to see a stuntman sing as well.
Wow, that'll be great. So talk to us about Saturday.
Well, Saturday is the main event, and that's when the chuckwagon cooking competition really kicks off. That's when these 1880s wagons and their teams cook a 5-course meal. That's a food competition style meal. It's beef, beans, potatoes, bread, and dessert. And they cook these competition meals that are judged for cash prizes. And then after that, 50 meals from each wagon get sold to the public, and they can eat at 12:30. And then we do we award prizes, cash prizes, for the best of each of those food courses, and then an overall winner for the chuckwagon cook-off on that afternoon.
Well, that's always good. And so you've talked about the competition and the various prizes that are going on. What has been the lowest number, the highest number of chuck wagons that have come, and how many do we anticipate this year?
Well, this year we have 10 wagons coming. They come from all over. They come from Arizona, they come from Nevada, Colorado, and this year we have a wagon from Texas. That's really exciting because Texas is where the chuck wagon was invented and where chuck wagon cook-offs are the most fierce competition. So we're starting to draw skill sets from Texas as well. The interesting thing about these competitors is they're also fighting the top 3 winners of the overall meal will get a seat at the National Championship of the American Chuckwagon Association that happens early next year. So they're trying to get they're vying for that spot. We also have 25 kids for the youth cook-off on Friday, which is our highest number ever. That's really exciting too.
Wow. And we'll have at least one, or how many from Chandler chuck wagons that are competing this year?
We have our host wagon, which is from Chandler. Former Assistant Community Services Director Dave McDowell in his Biscuit Flats wagon, they're considered the host wagon, and so they will be making small plates throughout the weekend and offering various tastes and demonstrations as well. So that's our Chandler chuck wagon that's around. He's not competing against the others because it was considered maybe a favorite, but he's certainly the host wagon.
And in times past, I know we've done this TV show with others. We had the great brownie making ladies at one of them, and will we have some other local venues or local competitors too outside of Chandler?
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 or 3 wagons from the valley that come. Rockin' our ranch is from the valley. They always compete. Cowgirls Forever, which is what you were referring to with the green chili brownies that are
Those were
famous. And yeah, so there are locals. They come from Sonoyta, north of the valley. There's a lot of really good talent in Arizona for chuck wagons.
Now, we were talking before the show started about how busy this time of year is. And it seems, as Dan was sharing, after Labor Day, life becomes a blur and things start moving very fast. We have other things going on this day as well. So do you want to tell us a little bit, Jody, about the Veterans Day events going on at our Veterans Oasis Park?
Sure. So at 11:11 on Veterans Day, there is a Veterans Day ceremony down at Veterans Oasis, and where the Environmental Education Center is.
And so that will be more of an observance for Veterans Day, and so we invite families and vets or anyone that just patriotically wants to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And then they should all probably get up and go to Tumbleweed Park, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Or they could actually come early and buy their tickets early, because gates open at 9 and tickets go on sale at 10. So they have enough time to get in line, buy a ticket, and then head on down to the veterans recognition.
So, and you say that they sell out every year. We have 10 wagons, 50, so we'll have 500 lunches that we'll be selling.
Absolutely. We'll sell 500 meals. We are also offering pre-sale meals this year for the first time. So if you don't want to stand in line and get one of the chuckwagon competition meals, but you want a chuckwagon style meal, you can actually go online to the Chandler Chuckwagon Cook-Off site at chandleraz.gov/chuckwagon, and you can purchase a chuckwagon style meal in advance. Then you don't have to stand in line at all. It's not one of the competition meals, but it's another option for someone who maybe doesn't want to stand in line but still wants to experience this atmosphere. If you don't want to do either of those things, though, we also have food trucks and other food vendors as well. So there's lots of food to have, whether you get one of the chuckwagon competition meals or if you're looking for something else.
So is this the first year that we've done the chuckwagon advanced meals too? I don't know if I recall that.
Yes, it is. One of the things that, one of the feedback issues that we've always heard was, what if I can't stand in line? How can I still get this kind of meal? And so as a tip of the hat to that, we've decided to have a caterer who's familiar with chuckwagon prepare that kind of meal, so that we can have those available for people that can't take part or maybe aren't available to get in line and get one of the highly sought after competition meals, because there is only 500 of those.
And if you do buy one of those, you'll be able to sit in the tent.
Exactly.
To enjoy shade. As you know, I know you've been there every time I've been there to the cook-off, and it gets pretty warm. We hope it doesn't get too warm, but in November you never know. So the tent will still be up from the night before from the sunset dinner, and anyone who purchases the meal, not the wagon meal, but the other meal, will be able to enjoy it in the tent.
So Dan, will we be keeping you busy the entire weekend now that you are a great volunteer with this event? You'll be there probably Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Well, we have a work day too on the 18th or 19th, where we do all the wood for the wagons. And I'll be very busy, as this is also my 50th wedding anniversary on the 11th. So I don't know how long I'll be there, but I'll be there most of the day.
I have a great idea of where you could take your wife out to eat.
That was suggested.
I don't know whether she is buying the suggestion. Is she with you in that?
Well, I haven't approached her with that. I think there may be a party in the works.
Oh, 50 is a pretty big date. Congratulations with
Thank
that
you.
as well. Well, could you give us one more time, for those who are interested in the Friday night, how can they purchase tickets?
Go to Chandler. You give me the.
It's chandleraz.gov
.gov/chuckwagon. That'll take you right to it, and there is a small processing fee, but the tickets are $40, and the proceeds do go to the partners. As we said, we're a 501(c) organization, so it will help us maintain the ranch and do more things that we have planned for the future.
Oh, that's great. Well, Jody, what other information do we want to make sure that our viewers capture?
Well, we've got. I was remiss to mention that we have a great music lineup for both days. We have live music performers both Friday and Saturday, produced by Valley Fever. So we have Barefoot and Pregnant on Friday, which is the delightful
They're great.
Tammy Wynette style crowd. And then we have on Saturday, we have Pick and Holler, which is an Appalachian bluegrass style music. And then also August Manley's premier Waylon Jennings tribute band that's going to be performing in the early afternoon as people are eating. So I think it'll be really exciting to see that. The other thing is another partnership that we have that supports the Chuckwagon event as well, and that's with Alamo Draft House. They have graciously agreed to host a Chuckwagon theme movie series. So we have 3 movies running in October. City Slickers on October 5th, Silverado on October 19th, and Maverick on October 26th. The proceeds of all of those movies go to support the Chuckwagon event. And then also they're doing Trivia Night on October 17th, themed on Chuckwagon specifically. So we hope to see people that also want to take part over at the Alamo Draft House as well. We also have a lot of wonderful sponsors that have sponsored us for a number of years, including Fast Signs, Serrano's, Basha's, Phoenix New Times, the Chandler Historical Society, lots of people. We couldn't put on this event without our community partners and the great sponsors that have sponsored the event. So we're very grateful to them as well.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll lay the challenge out. I'm looking forward to the Chuckwagon Trivia Night, and hopefully we'll have some others that'll come out. It's always a great night to delve into Chandler and other obscure topic history around this particular topic. Well, is there anything else that either of you would like to share about this exciting weekend and events leading up to it?
I would say the Chuckwagon event on the 10th and 11th, but specifically on the 11th, when the cooking competition happens, it's unlike any other food festival you'll ever experience. 1880s Chuckwagons, people dressed as they're on the trail rides. It's a great experience, and it's a ton of fun. So I just really encourage people to come out the 10th and 11th.
A lot of people do come in, quote, costume, just to enjoy the day. My favorite really is the first day, which is Friday of it, because of all the children. And when they're seeing things they only see on TV otherwise, you have the fires going, you have the kettles on it, you have all this, and all the wagon people or owners are dressed very 1800s, and that the ambiance is just great for it. It's a great event. I hope we see everyone there.
You know what I've never gotten yet is a cup of good cowboy coffee out of the kettles. Is that when's the best time for me to get that this year?
They will have coffee on all weekend long.
Yeah.
So you show up to Biscuit Flats and say you'd like some cowboy coffee, and Dave McDowell would love to give you a cup.
All right, very good. Well, I've enjoyed our conversation and once again promoting our Chuckwagon Cook-Off on November 10th and 11th, and we hope to see you there. Once again, this is Vice Mayor Kevin Hartke, and see you at our next show.